Hey guys, Husky-Flies back again with another XK Detect X380 video. Today I am going to be talking props. So what I've got here are the DJI 9450 props. If you're going to buy these for the X380, I'll leave a link to Amazon in the description, but make sure it is DJI 9450 part number 09. And these props are either 6mm or 9mm, I can't remember which, but again, I will leave a link down in the description to the Amazon page where you can buy these, and I know those are the ones that you can just put on here without any modification because I did. So I just wanted to kind of compare and contrast some of the differences within how they're mounted. These stock props have a prop nut. You have to put this down on there. Basically the motor actual pylon for it has one part that's indented. It's kind of like a circle where they cut two sides off, and that's where this prop fits. The prop nut screws down on top of it. That's how you install that prop. Up here where the prop nut area is, that area is obviously threaded before it gets to that cutoff part of the motor shaft, I guess. And these simply screw onto the top. They're just threaded to where they screw right onto that top. And as you can see, there really is not much difference. These are a little bit snugger against the engine housing, which makes sense because they've got, they go all the way down to that indented part. These have just a tiny little bit of play, but I seriously doubt that's going to affect flight at all. So you don't really need to worry about these flying off in midair. So basically, the inside of this prop is threaded reverse of whatever direction the motor is turning, and this particular motor is a clockwise, so it's going to go this way. So as it spins and carries the quad, it's actually tightening this prop down just constantly. So you can't really worry about these flying off. That being said, I've definitely never had one of these fly off either. As long as you check your prop nuts, you got to make sure they're snug and secure. So that's just one thing I wanted to go over about them. Ease of installation. The DJIs are definitely easier to install. You definitely never have to worry about them flying off. These will fly off if you do not tighten this. Now, like I said, I've never had an issue with that. If you tighten this snug, these should not fall off, but they have that potential if you're just really lax and looking over the thing and you don't tighten them down enough. We're just going to look at a little comparison of these two props right here. So as you can see, the DJIs are probably just a little tiny bit longer, not by much, and these also have curved tips, whereas the DJI props have flat tips, so that might be affecting it. These are both supposed to be 9-inch props, but the DJIs are probably just a little bit longer than the ones that come on the X380. The biggest difference you'll notice, of course, is the design and style. This is a very traditional design prop, not something uncommon that you'd see on the front of an airplane or whatever, whereas this is has this kind of weird slope right here. It thins out and then the ends are flat. I don't know the aerodynamics behind it, but I can tell you right now the flight characteristics are much improved flying the DJIs over these. But I'll get to the flight characteristics later on. I just wanted to give a general overview of what they look like side by side, so there you go. Definitely two very different styles. Now, outside of the style and the length of these props, there's one more thing that is pretty important to discuss. I'm just going to put this against my leg here, and we'll see some play we can get out of it. So as you can see, it's pretty flexible. It has a decent amount of play in the prop. These are a lot thinner, probably cheaper, made of cheaper material. If you look at the 9450s, that's about as much as I can bend it. They have a lot less play in them. They're a lot thicker plastic. They just seem to be a little heavier duty and more durable. So if you're the type of guy to flip your quad a lot, definitely would go with the 9450s. Keep in mind this comparison video is both of these stock from the factory. They aren't even balanced. They are not balanced. I haven't balanced these. I haven't balanced my stock ones. So this is just them stock from the factory. So balance could play a very big part of differences in flight. So as far as flight characteristics go, these definitely give the better flight performance. I noticed the second I put them on, it took a lot less power to get the quad off the ground. It seemed to move faster, and it definitely climbed faster. I can tell you one thing, these generate a lot more lift because this thing will rocket if you have these on and you put the throttle all the way up. So flight performance-wise, the DJIs definitely performed better than these. Again, this is stock from the factory. I would expect the DJIs to be a bit more balanced from the factory than these were. In balancing these, you know, they might come up to par and get closer to where the DJIs are. Now, video-wise, you can see I have the Drift HD action cam mounted under here on a little anti-vibration mount. I don't have a gimbal. It's about 2 days from getting here, and I'm sure the action cam I'm going to put on it will be a lot longer out than that because it's coming from China. But once I get both those things in, I'll have gimbal video. So all I really have to test the video right now is this action cam, which takes really good video and on an anti-vibration mount. So you're going to get some vibrations, you're going to get some jello. Obviously, you're going to follow the orientation of the quad because there's no gimbal. But I have to say, surprisingly to me, I think these DJI 9450s might have generated a little more jello than the stock props do, which was very surprising and slightly disappointing. Again, I'm sure balancing them will make them do a lot better. But I'll do some comparison footage here just to show you. I know I've recorded so much using that camera. I know I have fly around point and panorama and all that good stuff using both the 9450s versus the stock propellers. So I'll go ahead and throw that up and talk about it while it's going. Okay, amigos, I'm just going to go ahead and throw up a few little clips here, and I've decided I'm going to leave the sound in them so that you can sort of compare and contrast the sounds between the two, keeping in mind that these were over a very long time, so there were different days, different winds, you know, that definitely is going to affect the sound and some of the performance. But for the most part, everything, all of the GPS modes work really well regardless of which prop you have, so return to home, fly around point, panorama, all that stuff's going to perform about the same. Where you're really going to notice a performance difference with the 9450s is on climb out and stuff like that. Basically stuff where you're actively controlling the quad. I feel the 9450s give slightly improved performance. But without further ado, here you go. I'll be back in a minute. Hey guys, back here with the XK Detect X380 mounted up with the DJI 9450 props. In conclusion, I would have to say at this point in time there are cons and advantages to both of them. It really depends on what you want. I would say overall these are without a doubt the better quality prop. And like I said, they're the same price, at least on Amazon, as these right here. So they're really, if you need another set of props, there's really no excuse to buy these instead of these. They're the same price. These are made better. They're thicker, more durable, they give better flight performance, and you know, with video, yeah, I had a little bit more jello on them, but there's so many things that can affect that, environmental conditions and all sorts of stuff. It's really, would be really hard to definitively say these props give you more jello than these props, especially considering I haven't balanced either pair, which is one of the most important parts of reducing that. So yeah, I would say overall, I definitely recommend the DJI 9450 props for your X380. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed, I hope you hit that like and subscribe.